Hello folks, and welcome back to another video. Now today guys, I just wanted to make a very quick and brief video about the unfortunate news that came out about the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. And of course that news is that it has been postponed. I heard about this, well, I heard about it the day that the news dropped. But I haven't had a chance to get to talking about it with you guys, and I just wanted to make a very quick, brief video. This isn't going to be very long. Just kind of my reactions and my thoughts on it. So the news is, of course, that the movie has been postponed until, I believe I just read, November 25th of this year, 2020. For the United States, it'll be released a little bit earlier for people in the UK, but nonetheless, it's been postponed for about 7 months. And this is, of course, due to the coronavirus, which has obviously spread really badly in a lot of Europe now. But, of course, it all kind of started in China, and it's been really bad there. And when I first heard about this, I was upset, I was frustrated, but I wasn't really surprised. I think ever since the news came out that they had to cancel premieres and screenings, like early screenings for this movie, like outside of the United States, I think I've always had a thought in the back of my head since then that this is inevitable. Like I don't know. I always had a thought in the back of my head that if this coronavirus situation doesn't improve and doesn't get better, that it's very possible. But, of course, I didn't want to think that, so I kept thinking, oh, it's not going to happen, especially when we got to the point that the movie was like a month away from being released. I was like, they wouldn't postpone it, they wouldn't cancel it this month. This movie is a month away. I mean, they wouldn't do that. But they did it, and when I heard about it, I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe it, because like I said, I think there was always a thought in the back of my head where I knew that this was very possible because of what's going on in the world right now. So, but I didn't really understand, the thought process that went into it. I just wasn't surprised because of how bad the coronavirus is right now in some of the European countries. But it's not really bad in the UK. So, unless you've read some of the articles that the people, like the executives who were behind this decision, unless you've read some of those articles and kind of read why they made the decision, you probably are thinking, well, it's not bad in the UK. It's obviously not that bad in the United States, so why are they why are they postponing this movie? Well, it turns out that China, which is kind of where all of this craziness started, is actually a huge box office resource, I guess, if you want to call it that, for a lot of James Bond movies. Like, it is a huge market for a lot of James Bond movies. So, since the coronavirus is like the worst in China right now, by, releasing this movie on schedule, I mean, there's a bunch of movie theaters closed in China. I mean, movie theaters are closed, the people wouldn't be able to watch it in China, so that is a huge, that would be a huge hit for this film financially if they chose to release it on schedule. And the same thing with some other countries who have closed their movie theaters, but especially China, it would be a huge hit. And I had no idea that China was such a huge box office market for James Bond films, but when I read the articles and kind of looked at some of the statistics, yeah, I mean, it would be a huge hit. So, obviously, there's always going to be speculation like, oh, it's production issues, it's just a huge, lie. They're just trying to put out something that, makes sense considering what's going on. It's just, they're just delaying it because they still need to figure things out. There's production issues. I honestly don't think it has anything to do with production issues. I mean, I've heard some theories which make a little bit of sense, people talking about how maybe they're trying to cut down the runtime a little bit. This movie is like the longest James Bond movie ever, I think. So it's 2 hours and 43 minutes. So I've heard some people speculate that maybe they're trying to cut the runtime down a little bit, and that's what they're going to use these 7 months for. They very well may make changes to the movie, but I don't think their decision to postpone the movie has anything to do with production. I genuinely think it's a financial business decision that they're doing this. I mean, like I said, if they were to release this movie on schedule, they would lose tens of millions of dollars because China is a huge box office market for them. So is this a smart decision for them from a business perspective? Yes, of course it is. So I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised even when I didn't know about the China, thing. But I'm definitely not surprised now that I know China is such a huge box office market for them, because it makes sense. I mean, movies are a business. Yes, they're entertainment, but they're also a business. So, you know, the executives who made this decision, the producers, I mean, obviously they've been talking about this for a while. And before they even talked about it, I'm sure it has been a thought in the back of their mind. Like before they seriously considered postponing this film, I'm sure they've been thinking about it at least for a while, because ever since the coronavirus outbreak really started getting bad in China, before it really started spreading outwards, I'm sure they were thinking about it because they know that China is a huge market for them. I mean, the past Bond films have proved that. So I'm sure they've been thinking about it for a while, but I just think it's, you know, they really seriously considered it, and they had to make that very upsetting decision. But again, it's upsetting for us. I mean, for people who aren't being directly affected by this virus, it's upsetting for us. But for people who, I mean, I'm sure a movie is the least of their concerns right now, but for people who are struggling with this and dealing with this, I mean, you know, this decision is being made, yes, financially, but also these people can't go out and watch the movie. I mean, the theaters are closed. So, you know, really in all aspects, if you think about it, this is a very knowledgeable decision. So as upset as I am as a Bond fan, because I was so looking, I mean, you guys know, I was so looking forward to this movie coming out. You know, I did my reaction to the new Billie Eilish Bond song. I did my ranking of the Daniel Craig era Bond songs. And I was planning on doing some more videos in preparation leading up to it. You know, and it was only a month away, so I was getting really, really excited. And I'm still planning on doing those James Bond related videos, but it was only a month away, and I was so excited for it. And I don't think I've been as excited for a movie about ready to come out than I was for this movie. I was so excited because I've never seen a James Bond movie in the movie theater before, because when Spectre came out, I was too young. Well, I wasn't too young, but I was younger. I didn't really have any interest in Bond at that time. So, yeah, it's upsetting, it's disappointing, but we also need to think outside of our own little bubbles and realize that there are bigger issues going on right now than just a movie release. But it does, I mean, regardless, it sucks that we have to wait 7 more months for this movie to come out. But, I mean, I guess if you want to look at it from a glass half full perspective, I mean, this is 7 more months of us to get kind of excited, and for me to release some more James Bond related content leading up to the movie. Obviously, this gives me a lot more time to do that. So I know this was a pretty short and kind of relaxed video, but I just wanted to give you guys my, you know, impressions on this big announcement, because obviously this is a big deal. I'm a pretty big Bond fan, so when I heard about this, I was disappointed, but it is what it is. We just got to kind of go with the flow here. So anyways, guys, that's it. If you haven't clicked that red subscribe button, please do so if this kind of content, movie-related content, intrigues you. And also check out any of my future uploads. I'm planning on getting some more stuff out there very, very soon. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep talking about movies.